day 13 of the Guru Mama's Advent calendar. So, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me today. And yeah, ooh, how's everyone doing today? I hope you guys are all doing absolutely fabulous and wonderful and just sprinkling you all with positivity and joy today. And that is so huge in where we're going and the energies and what is unfolding for us at this time. It is when I was looking at the transits, and they're very positive, but they're very spiritual. Like there's a huge emphasis on spirituality and coming into our spiritual self. And good morning, good morning, good morning, all. What for many, um, when it comes to spirituality, uh, that's a hard one, right? That is a hard one. Releasing the germs trying to take hold, like just you got to shake off those germs. Sorry, I didn't mean to shake everybody. Uh, when it's coming to your spiritual self and working with your spiritual self, I think it's either it's hard to define, or people don't know how to define it, or they're not sure where to begin, because over the next several months, especially going into 2024, it is r- uh, I'm- it's a spiritual mission that we are going to be called upon to partake in order for all of us as an individual, but as a collective consciousness, to take, so that we are able to live in a more mystical, magical place. I mean, that sounds so woohoo and out there, but it is having us where I'm feeling like with a lot of the alignments coming in. It is getting us. It's almost like we're moving up within the vibrations. It's like we're moving in between the notes. So if anybody who reads music, and you have the bar go across, and then you draw your notes, and then you make your notes in between um each of the lines, right? Now, as we are moving up, either we're moving up an octave or down an octave. It is like here we are, it's like we're moving into this procession of movement, of a vibration that is like getting us to this climatic point within our journey. And 2024 is going to bring us into a diversity of it. And for a majority of 2024, we will be having Pluto in Aquarius, which is really having us look at humanity, our humanity. And the thing is, this Aquarius isn't necessarily spiritual, unlike Pisces or per se Sagittarius. It's more of wanting to bring in the science of it. It's the occult. That's what it is. Trying like, what is that word? It is the hermetic occultist energy that scares people, because Christians, believe it's evil, it's the devil, which it means secret. It is coming into those secrets. And I think it's like those secret chambers of our own selves that we are going to be having to open upon our journey through 2024, which is going to scare many people. And this is where it is so easy to go back to what you may have known before. It's so easy to run back to the church, to run back to, some dogma. But, when just watching something to do with history and some of the things that humans did, it's just like, I mean, you don't think about it, but I mean, they used to crush up skulls for medicine, human skulls. It was common practice, right? And the more distressed in their death, so hanging, the better off the skull is. And also, if the skull's been sitting for a while, the moss that grows upon the skull. And I'm going like this, and my head's just tingling as I'm doing this. It's just like crazy. But there's this infatuation of this. I don't know why I brought that up, but anyways, I just because I was finding it fascinating. It's my Scorpio side. It's this deep infatuation of immortality and the immortality of the flesh. And that is where people get afraid because they're afraid of their immortality of the flesh. And since we are entering into a spiritual energy, a spiritual transformation of moving, yeah, a vibrational movement in between the octics, that it is a soulful one, and in coming in within our soulful self, and in coming into who we are as a soulful being, is a fearful thought, because in coming to be within that, that means there's a responsibility. There's a responsibility to it, of how we are going to obtain, sustain, create that within us and vibrate it out. And in where Mercury is right now, retrograde, which is like he's been there before. Like he went forward at that spot in January of this year. We've had the South Node there. This is a very strong spiritual emergence of communication. And Mercury is he's the communicator. He wants to communicate. He's not looking at Pluto right now. He's starting to look at the sun, where the sun is. He's like going towards the sun and where Mars is. And that looks very beautiful. And it's like, the peace, the tranquility, as he's trining over to Jupiter, wanting to bring in that expansion and our values and our creativity within this mundane world. And as we are coming into this transference of creativity and vibrational change, that is where we are wanting. This is where you get people doing crazy things to their body. I mean, look at Madonna. I mean, I saw a picture of her the other day and it looked like she, I think it was on Joe Rogan, and he showed, and it looked like she's wearing a freaking diaper, like 'cause she put so much Botox or whatever it is, fat stuff into her ass. You know, it didn't look, normal, and her face and the whole bit. It's like, it's wanting to be immortal, the vampire coming in. And that's the other crazy thing, and that's that Eris North Node, wanting to unknown caller. Sorry, wanting wanting to come into this immortality of the flesh without realizing that your immortality is within your own spiritual self and the transcendent of the spiritual self and of the soul. That is where the immortality is. Like your soul is everlasting. You are everlasting within the essence of your soul. And when you are everlasting within that soul, that's when we have the past lives, and we're working through a lot within not only our past life or even within this life, that there is this transference of this energy that goes within each lifetime we come in. And that's the immortality, yet we don't remember it all. And here we are coming into this weirdness of people doing some crazy fucked up things. Now I know why I brought up the skull, because when they ground up the skull, I mean, King George II, right until he died, was, they had crushed up skull and something else. This was recipes that they had in the 16th, 17th, and 18th, and even up to the 19th century. If you look at any chemist, a picture of any chemist or doctor of that era, even up into the early 1900s or the 20th century here, they all had a skull. There was a skull on their desk or around them. They all had a skull, So, and we don't think anything. Oh, well, it's just a human skull. They're a doctor or they're a chemist. Shouldn't they have that? But it was all part of this, a lot of the recipes. And if you think about the, elixir that was made for people recently and what was put in it, it was kinda like, it's crazy, it's mad, it's like, "What?" There's abortive fetuses in there because they wanted to use the DNA of that whatever, and it's like doing it's a test, it's an experiment on seeing how is this going to cause immortality? Let's hypothetically think about this. If the elixir went the opposite way than what they thought it was going to go, let's per se, and this elixir brought in some crazy boost of immune system, boost of power within the people. Could you imagine if it went totally opposite? Totally different than what they actually wanted, you know? So there is this, sort of saying, okay, well, that mixture didn't work, so we're not going to do that to ourselves, kind of thing. But there is that, of, I'm going to say like the weirdest things that people do, which are crazy, and it's vampirish. I'm gonna say, I don't even know if that's a word, vampirist, vampirish. That's my new word. But because it is of drinking the elixir of the blood, because the blood is everlasting, the blood is sustainable, and in that blood brings in that purity. This is why they had weird things about draining blood, drinking blood, everlasting life. I mean, if you look at the Last Supper, this is my body, this is my blood, drink of my blood, and you have everlasting life. I mean, in all of this, it just made me really kind of think of the craziness that human beings do. When in fact, it's totally opposite to step into it. It's a connection with the earth. It's a connection with the spirit of the land. It's a connection with the trees and the plants. It's a connection with so much more than what and this is what this journey is going to be taking us into, as we go into 2024, of a spiritual journey, but it's a spiritual journey of a connection, of a connecting us with that of this world, of this world and beyond. But that connection of this world and beyond is something that is bringing in a sustainability, not a crazy whacked up elixir. It is one that wants to bring in a harmony, a peace, a mystical, magical, um, mystical, magical, and I just got a bag. So mystical, magical, like it's like a Santa Claus bag, a mystical, magical bag, and a bag of your tools, and adding into your tools so that you are able to partake in this world in a way that is more harmonious. Harmonious. I mean, we could go back to many different societies, right? Even the Aztecs, cannibalism, right? It was the thought of eating the soul of the warrior that you will gain that power of that warrior, of that, I got chilly, of gaining that power of the warrior, right? So, you eat, that power, that adrenaline, it's like the things that they do and the beliefs that they have. I mean, some of it, I mean, I'm not going to talk about it here, but I mean, some of the crazy shit because you want that heightened energy within that person, because when it's at that height of that explosion, you want to have that adrenaline and whatever, and you want to be able to ingest it in some way. And there's some fucked up occults out there that do some really fucked up shit. But when we come into the hermetic part, and we come into a um more of a old occultist, it is that of looking of not only the energies of the stars and the planets and the alignments, but how that affects within the earth, and how we can actually take that vibration and take that within ourselves and master that within our lives and raise our vibration to a point where we are able to connect with one another in a way that is non-judgmental, a way that is more of caring and understanding, and a way that brings in a responsibility not only for ourselves but of others. I know this is crazy deep, or crazy just out there for some people, and it might be hard, to grasp what I'm saying, but even if it's hard for you to understand what I'm saying, that's fine, because it's going to be, you know, points of it are going to be revealed. You're going to be working upon your own scale of vibration and of octave energy that is going to be taking you. And each of us are going to be going on the journey in our own way, bringing in that magic of how we are co-creating with the universe, and co-creating with the universe, within our realm, and within the world around us, because you're going to have the three elements that are going to come in, the higher, the self, and the lower, as above so below, and you're in the middle. You're going to have to work with all of these elementals that are going to help you to maintain, create, manifest, whatever you want to say, um, in your world. And that's going to be a lot. It's going to be, I find this is going to be a journey for many people. For me, I just find it exciting and explosive, and so um fundamental on our journey, on our earth walk, that we are having to um we're having to have this. It is an important piece um on our soul journey within this earth walk, and the experience that we are going to have. I brought up the Akashic records this morning on my walk, and talking about the Akashic records, and I find it's important for us to um, begin to work with the Akashic records. I think that's going to be a really big one coming into 2024. I know it was kind of trendy a few years ago, but working with the Akashic records, we're going to find where it's our attention is going to expand our consciousness past the earth and the physical, emotional, and mental planes, so that you may connect, within the Akashic records. It's going to be an important piece, because it's going to help you to understand more so of your journey at this time. Now, your Akashic records is a record of um it's like a library of your journey of this life and of past lives. And there are um keepers of the Akashic records for you to go in there and work with. There's soul lessons and self realization, soul purpose, creation. There's so much to work on within this. And um I haven't done it in over a week. I've gone into my Akashic records. Um, it's funny. It's like I need to start doing it again, because I'm just gonna read. I want to help you feel more empowered and less like a victim to your circumstances. And this is looking deeper into the pain and issues of your life and to help yourself and help others upon their journey. Being and doing are opposites. And if you want to transcend the lower vibrations, you'll want to start to express your existence through being. You still do things, let's face it, most of us still have to do laundry and clean the house and cook the dinner, but you can be the energy of connection and love while doing the laundry, doing the connection. Now that's where we're going to go back to where Mercury's retrograde right now, because with the Sabian symbol, it says within the Sabian symbol, and it's just like mind blowing, all of this connection. This is within the Sabian symbol where it says for you, the third stage of this five-fold sequence suggests to us how we can enjoy our life conditions by allowing the spiritual values it embodies to fill our consciousness in every condition provided by a healthy culture. Okay, healthy culture, but which hardly refers to our present chaotic world. So human beings can find enjoyment in the roles they are born to play. So this is finding enjoyment in where you are at this time, in that connection. And as you are doing that, that allows for, again, the vibrational energies, if you want to call the energies, or I'm going to call it the vibrational octics, to begin to rise. And an octic will rise and an octic will lower. So know that there's going to be an ebb and flow in this. It's not going to be all consistent on one note level, because if you just listen to one note level, I mean, it can get very irritating. But if you have that sort of range, let's go with Mariah Carey with her like, oh, that range, that's where for all of us we can have that range as well within our own vibrational self. And that's the journey, and the spiritual journey we are beginning to partake in. And this Mercury retrograde is really going to be a teacher and a revealer for us, that is going, and it's funny because he goes forward on January 1st as we are going to be entering into the new year. Crazy. I know. I just, you know, just watching how everything is being laid out, I am totally in awe and excited for 2024. I know it's not going to be a journey that is like, "Woohoo, yeah, 2024, let's just go." It's going to be where we're gonna be getting on a ship, or we're getting into the car, we're getting into where this is going to be an adventure of a lifetime. And do you want how do you wanna partake on this adventure? How do you wanna partake on the adventure? Do you wanna partake on the adventure on being fearful, on being scared, of running away? Or do you wanna go upon this adventure and say, "Hell yeah. Let's see where this is going to unfold. Let's see the mysteries that are going to come in for us." And that's why it comes in with the trusting of a spiritual one and coming into the spiritual, not necessarily that of the flesh. Because the flesh one, it gets you really, if it's the immortality of you can get into uh dysmorphia of the body and the way it's supposed to look. And I mean, I'm not, if somebody wants to get Botox or they want to get um anything done, cool. I'm for it, right? That's part of it, right? If I have to do the adventure, it to keep those happy and calm and positive around me. No, it's you keeping yourself happy, calm, and positive. See, that's the thing. It's like you can't control other people. This is your spiritual self. And sometimes when we are creating different vibrations, we might be going up in the vibrations and others may not want that. They want to go down in the deep vibrations, and that's fine. And that's where you got to allow them. You could be there if they want a helping hand, but they have to do the climb. They have to do the climb. So this is where you find for yourself, what is that spiritual part that I need for me? What do I need for me? Like, and this isn't in a selfish way. This is like, okay, what do I need? Oh, for me, I need to, go take the dog for a walk. And or I need to, you know, go and take something that I enjoy and put myself first before I put something, you know, always putting some other people's needs first. That's part of the spiritual journey, right? This isn't, because when we're going to go back, this is going to get, I got to get, la, 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 la. When we are on this journey, when we are doing this, especially over the next, as we are going to be entering into 2024, it's it's going to be a hell of a ride. It's going to be where we are wanting it to look or be in a certain way, because that is what, and I'm going to go, that is what we want of as the flesh, right? Of the humanness. And this is getting us to transfer from that. And as we transfer that, it doesn't mean we're not in the flesh. We're not doing the laundry. We're not doing the things that we need, but we are approaching them in a new way. We're approaching them in a way that is with love, with a way that is like, yeah, this is where I'm at right now. This is where I'm at right now, you know? Maybe I'm not at the highest octave today. Maybe I'm at, mediocre, or a monotone. Maybe that's where I am today, but I am accepting that of where I'm at without going into, because if I go into the stress, if I go into the anxiety, then I am going into that again of the flesh, of the mundane world. Then I'm going to get hung up on what it has to look like. And I can get into the vampirish. The vampirish is that, oh, I need to drink this and I need to do this in order for me to obtain that. And that's going to be a huge one. And this is also where we're going to be seeing, with people, it's like them saying, we are the only ones. We are, and that's, where the conflict and the craziness all starts to unfold. But it's like, okay, I see that. I see that. It's like, no race is better than any other race. No one is better than anyone else. Some may have more education on some things, definitely, but that doesn't mean that person is better, per se, you know? So this is coming into a place where um the dance with our soul is going to be an interesting dance. And not everybody can dance, so it's going to be learning some new steps as we move forward. So I'm quite excited. It's very positive. I find this is a positive thing. Um there's so much that I feel is going to rise to the surface that we are going to be witness to, and some of it I think that's going to rise to the surface too. It's going to floor people, right? And that's where you're going to start seeing that vampire energy wanting to come out, because it wants that of the immortality of the flesh, and not where we are here to understand is our journey of the soul. And when we are entering into a real soulful journey, especially with Neptune at the coming in, it's, it's coming into the end of Neptune. I mean, those are very critical, parts where it's like, did you learn the journey? Did you learn this journey as I was going through Neptune, did you understand how you need to step into oneself? And now with Saturn coming in there, Saturn is like, are you bringing in that structure that you need? Are you bringing in that training you need? Are you bringing in that discipline that you need? Right? Because they will meet up in 2026, I believe, at the very end of Pisces into Aries, which is like, I think it's 2026. So it's this is like, wow. And then Neptune goes on into Aries, which is a whole nother kettle of fish. Um, but where it's at right now, we're going back to Mercury because Mercury is one of our personal planets. Mercury is one where we have to learn the practicality of ourselves and how we are needing to come into an inner peace and a self-love and a blissful joy. This is where Mercury's coming in to teach us that, right? And that can bring forth, a lot of fears, stresses, mental turmoil for some because it kind of blows up their whole world on what what they feel, and I keep on touching my skin, what they feel they need, right? It's like, like you're thinking of King George II grinding up the skulls and he drank it until the day he died, you know, thinking that this is going to and skull ground up skull was in many different tinctures and stuff that people used, you know. it's ki- it's kind of crazy. Some other things that were in there too, but it's that elixir, it's that idea that I wanna sustain this of my flesh. And it's not saying that you treat your body like shit, because your body has to carry you through all of this, right? So you're treating your body with the love, with the passion, and with the understanding. So that gets you to eat healthier, that gets you to exercise, that gets you to maintain a better way of being, right? You know, it's just, my basic knowledge of history, I know, just some things stick in my head, and it's usually the the crazy, fucked up shit that sticks in my head, you know? Um, but it's that's and understanding that is, I think, some of the recipes, because you have to translate them from Latin, are just crazy. There's a book, it's, what is that book? Hold on. Um, the book, and I was listening to her. It was I won't put this on because the book is called Mummies, Cannibals, and Vampires. I don't own it, but do I wanna own it? Definitely. Um, it is a book that comes in like, there's one, a mythical pigeon pie, um a loss too cruel to be shared with this hungry young woman by the shimmering coals. And they really do shimmer a delicious, almost liquid ripple of amber heat pulsating from the core of the fire as you huddled together under blankets, retelling your tales yet again. How it goes on and on and goes on about how you began to dimly fear that perhaps Powdered Skull could freeze and indeed congelate. Mummies, cannibals. It's on Santa's list. Yes. I should tell my kids that and a transistor radio. Mom wants this book. It might be. I know it's on Amazon. Mom wants a transistor radio and she wants this book. There's a couple books. And the book that just came out with Alex Jones, I want that one too. It's only in hardcover, but the Alex Jones one too. Because some of the things in there. Oh, yeah. So Maybe I should start reading Harlequin romances or something. Something a little bit not as crazy. But I just, I know I just get enthralled with this. Um, and what was it? Well, Cannibals and Kings. One thing we rarely taught at school is King James the First refused corpse medicine. Charles II made his own corpse medicine, and Charles the First did also. So yeah, so those types of things is just crazy. Um, on on the information that's there when you start to read it and you start to look into it, and then you start looking at how that, because it comes into where Eris is right now, because Eris is like a 200 and no, she's longer, she's a 600 and some year transit, but where Eris, Eris in the North Node and stuff like that, that has a lot to do, and I know this is going to freak people, like cannibalism and in wanting to have immortality, and people back then didn't live long, so when it comes to immortality they really wanted to you know have like even other things I don't want to say on here because I don't want to get, but it use your imagination, things that the idea, okay, well, we'll just think of this idea. If I die, I will have 40 young virgins or 400 or how many? I don't know. I don't know. My first thought when I this is me going off on a tangent. My thought when I heard that, it's like, okay, well, what happens when they're not virgins anymore and you fucked them all? Then what? Do you go to hell? What happens? Like they're no longer virgins. You ran out. But that idea that's going to give you more immortality, it is that sacredness, that sweetness, that sweet spot, right, of immortality, that this is what this is going to give me, and that's what people um get messed up about. And that's where people get very crazy and delusional. And so this is where that's why so much is going to be revealed, especially where Mercury's going over, because this is like he's been doing this for the last 3 years, saying, "Hey, have you got it yet? Hey, have you got it yet? Boom, did you get it yet? Oh, you didn't. Okay. Here I go again. Hopefully you get it this time because this is the last time I'm with Pluto. I won't be with Pluto anymore." So that's the other thing. And same with this is going to be with the sun going over, or not the sun, the moon. It's just so much endings with Pluto. So there's so much there that for us to look at what we are wanting to create and sustain, because Capricorn is the hard rock. It is it's sustainability, it's the cardinal, it's the going forward. It is, the building power of what we are wanting to build, of what we are wanting to create. And then with Taurus, it's like, okay, we're creating it, but we're bringing it really into our values, our belief systems, and how we want to have it within our values and belief systems. So this movement of this dance of this um that we are going through is really going to have us look at our world and the world around us in a new way. And I think it's some of it, some of it I think it's beautiful, but I know a lot of people are going to have a hell of a time with it. So there we go. There we go. Cannibals, vampire. Yeah, the whole book. So, my loves, I'm going to love you and leave you right now because I have to go. And sending you guys out so much love. And I pray that you all have a fabulous day. I'm lifting you up to the Lord and the Lady. May they watch over you and bless you in all that you say and all that you be and all you do. Thank you for joining me today. If you're wanting a reading, my readings right now are at $100. So I know everybody's like, oh, they're going all over the place. Well, it's the Advent calendar. You never know what you're going to get. So we have that. If you're wanting a personal reading for 2024, a personal reading for 2024. That's about an hour and a half, you and I sitting together. It's $130. So those ones usually go up to over 200. So if you are wanting that personal reading, and then we go through it. What else? Yeah, that's it. I gotta go. And sometimes I just get tired of advertising myself. So blessings all, and we will talk to you all soon. Let's go feed the ducks. And let's move it on. Let's move it on. Let's be everybody.